Duke wins. Fatality.
What is up, people? I want to make sure you guys can hear me loud and clear. I know sometimes I start with my mic all low. I don't know why the hell I do it, but I do. And we'll get into everything. Make sure I got everything all set up and ready to go. It's gonna be a fun one. No anger, just wonder why they make it so obvious and people don't listen or notice for their damn selves, really. It's kind of funny to me. We're gonna get through a couple things, and then I'll have an open panel. Anybody wants to jump on? Wait until some people scroll through. Let's see. Yeah, so kind of small talk for the moment. I was looking over at NASA's carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide indicators. That little screen in the bottom right that's playing right now. And there's something I noticed, and they even state that I had no clue was even happened. Um, so apparently, like, only half the year are we getting these huge, like, CO2 numbers. Then, like, the other half, there's, like, no CO fucking 2. It's crazy. What's up, everybody? Yep, and that's it. I am going to be in the chat tonight. I promise you guys. What's up, One Good Science? Thank you for joining. Been taking pics. Thank you for being here, FPV. What is up, sir? Live Kung Fu? My bad. What's up? What's up, Triple Double Duke? I'm gonna open that panel up if you want to jump on it a little bit. I just want to kind of get through a couple things, and we'll get into that. Actually, you know, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go ahead and put the panel up now. Forget it, Why not? Okay. That way it's for the early people that get here who can jump on the panel. Yes, if you want to jump on the panel, just let me know. And I will have it ready to go. Yeah, so let's get into this. So you guys know I've been really diving in on this whole ocean fertilization thing, and which is the geoengineer engineering at its finest. And it's taking me definitely down that deep rabbit hole. No worries, FPV. But we definitely got to get a hangout going soon, so we can go over that layout you have. All right, cool, dude. Yeah, anytime. And then things started kind of raveling and showing their faces to me, like, wow, this is how obvious the government is to say "f you guys." So, for one, I've stated 1,000 times that all this geoengineering going on, it's banned. I found at least 3 treaties that ban geoengineering, and then you start reading into them, and every few years they're revised, and then there's little loopholes that go into these damn things that shows exactly how they're getting away with doing it. For one, all they gotta do is slap research on it. I'm sorry, when you're doing research, you would typically probably do your research in a way that would show results for the same thing you're doing. So if you dumped 100 tons of iron in the ocean, you would think you would dump 100 tons of iron somewhere else, just to see what the the differences and the things that stay the same, and they definitely don't do that. Um, they account for 13 ocean ocean fertilizations, and the crazy part is they don't talk about the sequestering in the deep ocean. They don't talk. There is not one document I could find about how they actually, get it from the sequestering into these trucks to these plants. And I realized real quick, this technology they don't want anyone to know they're doing. So why would they, right? And then I kind of go, dig deeper and deeper. And a lot of people probably already know about this, but I had no clue about the emissions trade. This is the crazy part. It's really called the emissions trade scheme. So what they don't tell you, and you probably had to really read into this to find out, they basically get to trade. It's like baseball cards to them, Pokemon cards. They get to trade pollution. Yep, you heard me right. So if the United States is only allowed, and these are just numbers I'm throwing out, if the United States is allowed to have 100 parts of pollution a year, then we'll say China is allowed to have 200 parts of pollution a year, and America, halfway through the year, hits that 100 mark. That would mean, under the emission sanctions that they have, the United States would have to shut down everything that basically has anything to do with greenhouse gases and shut it down, period, until the next fiscal year. But what they can do is they can actually trade with China for their pollution points. And then, if China gives United States 100 and they only have 100, but they need 200, hey, they can go and get that from 5 or 6 different countries. Here's the kicker. There are countries that don't even produce emissions that have these credits, and they just stockpile them every year. Yeah, that's right. If you don't use 100, that means you get that 100 the next year on top of the 100 you already had. So they're basically trading pollution with countries that don't even emit pollution so they can continue on production. Crazy, right? Then I ran into something even better. They're allowed to basically sell carbon dioxide. Now, of course, ocean fertilization is banned, so of course they don't do it. But there's a loophole. It's crazy, another loophole. What's up, Sister Truth? How you doing, sir? We got to get that meetup going pretty quick. Don't think I forgot, my friend. Kind of just going through, to anyone that's rolled through, kind of going over basically how they're using these greenhouse gases at their advantage and kind of bullshitting us. Or not, I'm not even say bullshitting us. They're just not saying it. They're doing it behind the closed doors and getting rich off of it. So sorry guys, but I'm gonna kind of go over it a little bit one more time. So basically, I came across what's called the emissions trade scheme. Basically, in a nutshell, countries are able to trade pollution like Pokemon cards. I gave the example a minute ago that if and these are just numbers; these aren't the actual numbers. If they're allowed to come up with 100 pollution points, so to speak, and for a year, and they run into that in 6 months, they can go over to China and trade their pollution points and continue on, business as usual. Even worse than that, there are countries that do not have power plants, they're not putting out emissions that get these credits, and they can trade with other countries at will. Very little sanction on this. And one of the agencies that regulates this is the EPA, and we're going to go over that in a second. Another one is the carbon market. Stock exchange. A stock exchange. It's basically businessmen, adventurers making billions off pollution again, greenhouse gases. These greenhouse gases that they're trying to get rid of. And I think I said it last stream, it doesn't make any sense. Why would they? Because remember, the biggest components of this are these power plants, these fossil fuel companies, these big conglomerates, these billionaires that are having to pay these taxes and take the steps to a greener world, right? Why would they basically be putting so much money, billions? Remember at $1 trillion mark, trillions of dollars to make every power plant, green, go green, really. And it makes no sense because their timeline is, I'm talking like 2030 is when they plan, if everything goes as perfect as they think, we'll be good to go, basically. But then it's like, why the fuck would these billionaires willingly lose money every year as it gets closer to this deadline? Because they're not going to. I made it very clear. I know, at least in every stream so far in the past 3, they are, I believe, they are 100% creating carbon dioxide for gain. I 100% believe the fossil fuel companies, maybe even our government, has no intentions on solving this issue. Something that they don't talk to us about at all. And you can see it, like I said a little minute ago, on the right side, bottom right, that small screen that you guys are watching is a year-long loop of our carbon dioxide and the carbon monoxide cycles. And what you'll notice is right now, I believe it's in the winter-ish. No, I think we're in the summer. I don't remember. No, it's wintertime. During the winter, we have this 400 parts per million reading that they're giving us, right? Well, as you'll see as the year goes through, that red, which is carbon dioxide, will just disappear. It'll be gone. And then it'll turn gray, which becomes carbon monoxide, which is fires, just, volcanoes, stuff like that. And then I realized the California fires, that's just part of, their whole radiation blanketing. Let me get in here. Centra says, Sean, I'm getting some avocado orchards in North County. Gonna have to do some avocado meetup. Sounds good to me, man. I don't really like avocados, but the meetup sounds good. Depleting the auction. Yeah, exactly. And there's some websites I'm going to go through that kind of smack you right in your face when you read them, and you figure out what the hell's going on behind our backs. Said they have no just taxes from emissions and make billions. That's right. Because they want taxes us for the carbon. See, that's the crazy part. So we pay taxes on that as well. So they pay taxes, but they don't tell you that they get that money back. That's why they're putting these systems in. So, lucky enough, these systems, make, finding oil easy, or recovering oil that much easier. It's crazy that they give them, that enough of these companies sign these greenhouse gas bills to clean up a little bit. Every time they've done that, and I look through like all the treaties that get revised, they get a little bit more lenient, a little bit more wordy. Kind of weird. Yes, exactly. Added to your electric bill, which you guys were talking about the other day, FPV, with the whole solar and everything. And man, I was watching D.Marble, and it came clear to me because D.Marble, and he had D. Murphy on, and D. Murphy is a very smart man. I listened. I haven't heard him too much, but I can tell he's a smart man. D.Marble's smart, and it's clear that they just don't know because the information is not just in your face to know about it, but everyone's going about this solar wrong. I mean, if you're running solar, don't run regular batteries. You're gonna wear them out. They're not able to charge and deplete the same way. Gotta get solar batteries. Those are so important. But I digress. Yeah, it's huge. It's crazy what they're doing at FPV. It's 100% this quote unquote solar is realistically all it is just relieving the stress off their systems, making it cheaper for them to give us. Yeah, water too, and that's in a. I think it was probably about 4 or 5 streams ago. I showed you guys a site which honestly I kind of come to the conclusion it may not be 100% real. The global what was it global trading site, the ones who quote unquote formed a cyclone. Um, the reason why I'm not 100% on believing it so much is that they even say in their website that all their data is a secret. Basically, they won't show any of it, so I have nothing to back it with. And you guys know me, I kind of need something to back it with to make the claim. Yeah, exactly, FPV. So one of the things that I've decided is, I kind of went through all my files, all the links I had, and anything that didn't have enough, I kind of put on the back burner. So understand, guys, anything I'm going to be talking about right now I'm going to be able to show you, and and in the big picture, these things may be small, but I feel like if we know enough about it, it'll the big picture will be easier for us to see. Yes, exactly. It creates industries. Um, since I think it was about 2007, from what I've seen, 2007, it has, and this is what they'll tell you. This is in the open. It has created. I think it was in the range of 500,000 jobs. What's up, Huey? How you doing, sir? It's created about 500,000 jobs, which in theory is a wonderful thing. The problem is that all these industries are basically what I call ghost employees. They're basically just all it does is it makes the taxes the company has to pay, it makes the sanctions the company has to deal with a little easier to deal with because then they have to, they have more people to worry about. But yeah, so like I was saying, I came across the emission the emission trade scheme. Now, why would they name it that? Of all the things, and I'm not crazy. This is literally what it's called. Let me go pop this up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right. You know me. Gotta take a second to figure out which screen to share from. We'll go right here. Oh, wrong one. See, told you. There it is. Now I gotta make sure it's on the window. All right, emissions trading. So basically, like I said, it's it's a market-based approach controlling pollution by providing economic incentives for achieving reductions in emissions and pollutions. In contrast, no command or in control environmental regulations such as big available technology standards and government subsidies cap and trade programs are type flexible environmental regulations that allow organizations to decide how best to meet policy targets. Various countries, states, groups, companies have adopted such trading systems notable for mitigating. See, literally, there's no one watching this shit. They're allowed to do whatever they want. And the first part of it was my favorite. It's by providing economic incentives for achieving reductions in emissions. They're not that's not what they're doing. Because you just like a lot of other things, what they're doing is they basically go, all right, who's gonna get less of these credits? United States says we had 100 last year, we'll take 90 this year, and they go, really? All right, we're gonna lower your taxes. But then they do the trading shit, and no one regulates it, so no one knows, no one cares. As long as when they get to their offices and the EPA goes, "Are you under your limit?" and they go, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah. We have look right here. See, under the limit, 1,000." So it's crazy how that works. I came across, and this is a wonderful site, and it literally took me 3 times to try to get in here because they actually won't let you sign in and be part of it. I guess I don't know what kind of background it is. Let me get this up again. But they don't play. Put it that way. Let's see. It's the other screen. It's over on the other page. Let me see. We'll get back to it because I can't. I gotta get to. I gotta bring up the other page. But this is, this is just as wonderful right here. Okay, put this away real quick. All right. So this is something completely different. This is one of those treaties I was telling you guys about. I think I hear somebody. All right. So like I was saying, every year these treaties become more lenient, right? Um, the treaty we're looking at now is the conservation of prevention of marine pollution by dumping waste and other matter. This was made up in 1972 and then enforced in 75, right? Um, 2006 was when everything changed. 2006 is when ocean fertilization became okay under certain guidelines. One of the guidelines is you kind of have to put research in it. The problem there that we're having is that these quote unquote researchers are funded by, guess who? Fossil fuel companies. Matter of fact, I have a list, and I would seriously have to find it because I didn't expect to do it. But basically, of those 13, 6 were funded by BP and Shell. Now, why would they be interested in depleting CO2 levels completely? Because those two companies, mind you, are, yep, guess what? They're the major players in that emission control thing that they're not talking about. Go ahead and find that next one because I just cleared it for some reason. All right, there it is. I'm going to put the tab in here so you can actually look at it. All right, this is the website I was talking about. Now, to tell you the truth, it is not an easy website to get to navigate. A lot of the times they want you to start a portfolio, and I don't want to put that much information in there. So, like I said, it's presentation, market analysis, and it's basically just everything you need, everything they need to know. And this is like the atlas for a trading card company. Like this card is worth RWE is worth blah blah blah, and it's crazy. So their emission cap is 44 million higher or down from the previous year of 153. Now, what they don't explain is the difference between these two numbers right here. These two at the very top on the right is whatever they've traded, whatever they've used prior, from other countries that they've traded for, it doesn't apply. It only applies to what their standards have to read for. It's fucking crazy. So just click that one out. So I think I'll go through this one a little bit more in a minute, but this is where it hit home. Right here. The Carbon Dioxide Industry 2007 Market Research Report. This is where I found out that basically ocean fertilization isn't so they can't invest. You can't. It's not a public subsidy because it's not legal, right? It's banned. They haven't. It's like called like a servant trade market, basically. So if they can acquire points, then they can sell those points to like a big fossil fuel company, and then they can pay them that money. Oh wait, I'm sorry. They call it research funding. That's a crazy shit. I suggest you guys. All these links are in my in my description. Please check these sites out. Get a little bit more aware. I could read these all to you, but you guys know how that is. I suck at reading. Let me get back into this chat. What's up, HELIOSKEPTIC? How you doing, friend? It's been a while. Good shit over there on 24/7. That 24-hour stream. That is crazy. How great that's turned out, right? So if you guys haven't heard yet, HELIOSKEPTIC got together with 24/7 Discord, and they basically run a 24/7 YouTube channel now, where you can just jump in and listen and engage with people on the YouTube side about it. So check that out. Matter of fact, that is in my description as well. So check that out. See what you guys are saying. Oh, what's that? So they're getting paid for the factories, then getting paid for their own. Yes. What they're doing is they all added what's called a CCS system, carbon capture or storage system. So a power plant will produce 1,000,000. I'm throwing these numbers out there because they're not in front of me. 1,000,000 parts per million of carbon dioxide. They go through these new machine systems that are basically scrubbers, and they pull the carbon dioxide out of it. The reason they're doing that isn't for greenhouse gases. It's so that they can put them in the ground, which is that reverse fracking that I was talking about. And what it does is it basically doesn't bond with the oil. It actually brings the oil up, and they're actually able to yield 60 to 80% more than they were able to before. And yeah, it's crazy. And they're getting, the government pays them for having these systems, so they're just getting money left and right for nothing. One of the other things is there are regulations put out there for a reason that tell us all these silver iodine in weather modification is safe. Okay, well, let's put it this way. It would take a lot of silver iodine, probably nowhere near as much as they are using, to affect us. But what they don't tell you is that for any animal, mammal, reptile, any animal period that lives in water or near water, it's extremely dangerous. When they show you those toxicity reports and all you see is clear, good, all right, don't worry about it. They never scroll to that bottom, because at the bottom it says extremely dangerous to aquatic life. Extremely dangerous. The factory I contract for do these procedures. Out in the field, they are putting CO2. Yes. And the other mask of it is there are companies that out there that just store it. They're not using it to recover oil. They're just storing it. The problem with that is we don't know what will happen in 30 years, 20, 30 years with this stuff. If it leaks out, basically it becomes a pointless pit. That billions of dollars spent to find, because Obama found, like I said before, Obama found 22 sites in the United States that he shows us where it's just stored. It's not used for recovering oil. It's just stored there. They're wiping out coastal. Yeah, and also another one of the fun aspects of it is wait, have you guys ever experienced what these iron fertilizations look like? Let me show you guys what they're doing out there. Because I honestly had never seen it before, ever, and you'll see, and then we'll talk about the real effects of this shit. Let's go to pictures. This is it. There it is. So what you guys are looking at right now, that is the iron that they dump into the ocean. Iron fertilization at its best. That nice red cookie stuff. What they're not telling us, because the information we do get from it, and what I'll do is I'll actually read off what they do, because they like to make it seem like we got it, we're all good, we're not doing anything wrong. Let's see. There you go. Another one right there. And while I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up their pros and cons. There we go. So the pros and cons, as they state it. I'm gonna go ahead and read the pros, because that's pretty much all we get to hear from it. So some of the good is, it says, causes phytoplankton to grow. That's the bloom, right? Algae receive iron nutrition, thus absorb any abundance of carbon dioxide. Hey, sounds great to me. This enhances photosynthesis. Hey, photosynthesis, plants grow, animals grow, everyone wins. Iron sunk to the bottom of the ocean locks away hazardous gases for years. Okay, I like playing this whole, yay. That's crap, because that's also one of the issues they have. They don't know what it will do years to come, because it's not the normal seasonal iron that would hit, carbon dioxide that's on the bottom of the ocean from these phytoplanktons that die, then go to the deep. So that's actually a bullshit claim right there. Lower cost than other methods. That's true. It's probably the cheapest way of doing what they quote unquote are trying to do. Let me just make sure this chat's up here so I can see. Yeah, so dying. Oh, wait, FPV. You're about to hear the best part about this whole situation, because I'm almost done reading their wonderful fairy tales. The iron induced is good for entire food chain. It's another one. That's bullshit. Enhances marine biology productivity. Another false claim. Has shown 25% reduction in atmospheric CO2. That's a big number. Wait, if that were the case, we wouldn't be at 400 parts per million, right? That seems odd. According, or exceptionally accurately removes CO2 where their methods do not. I don't even get that one. Reverses process of global warming, while other methods may only slow it down. So basically, they're saying that this solves global warming. Again, false claim. Has a great potential if current data is correct and equipment technology is upgraded. Wait a minute. You've already stated that it removes CO2, and you've already stated that it's shown 25% reduction in CO2, but the data collected, you need better equipment. How is the equipment insufficient if it's actually being, yeah, see, another false claim. Now let's get into the real reasons why this isn't the reasons this cannot happen, right? These are the things we should know right off the bat. We should know about the bad part before they start even the first time. Now, most of you who live on the East Coast of the United States right now, you know exactly why algae populations and mass growth is bad. You guys are experiencing a red tide right now. What is a red tide? Red tide is basically when algae over exceeds their normal biology. So basically, when the populations of algae grow so large that it can't sustain itself, they become bacteria, infectious disease, basically, and they kill basically all marine life. Now, I'm not going to say 100% marine life, but yeah, it pretty much kills marine life. Matter of fact, let's find out the real numbers. Let's go ahead and type in red tide. Find out what red tide actually does. Let me go ahead. Make sure this is it. Okay, this is it. I hope I don't get a copyright strike for this, but who cares? Alright, so I got to find the screen real quick. Sorry, guys. There it is. Let me see. Yeah, let me see if that one worked. Where is it? Bam, there we go. Let's see if it's better. There we go. Let's find out what red tide does.
Tides are not a good thing. Man-made pesticides and other chemicals are washing into our oceans.
I can't turn it up.
Harmful algal blooms. Some of these algal outbreaks are toxic, killing marine animals, causing respiratory problems in human beings, and making some of our shellfish unsafe to eat. Our nation needs an integrated ocean observing system to help monitor these types of events, which could be deadly.
Alright, can you let me know if you guys can even hear it to know if it's even worth the shit of me trying to play it. What's up, Alan? Okay, so basically, well, I'll go ahead and just read this real quick. It says, harmful algae blooms, or HABs, occur when colonies of algae, simply plants that live in the sea and freshwater, grow out of control while producing toxic and harmful effects on people, fish, shellfish, marine mammals, and birds. Human illness caused by HABs, though rare, can be debilitating or even fatal. Now, remember what ocean fertilization does. It dumps iron to promote algae bloom. Okay, so we know for a fact when algae blooms to a substantial number, red tide happens. Not every time, but most of the time. And also, it's dangerous. Now, let's continue reading. Here's some fun facts. It says HABs have been reported in every U.S. coastal state, and their occurrence may be on the rise. Nations concerned because by affect not only the health of people and marine ecosystem, but also the health of local and regional economies. So fisheries, all the fish market basically, and I'm not sure if you guys remember, but in one of the videos I played, I thought ocean fertilization was to actually boost economy in the fishing industry. But not all algae blooms are harmful. Most blooms, in fact, are beneficial because the tiny plants and food for the animals in the ocean. In fact, they are a major source of energy that fuels the ocean's food web. Okay, well, okay, so some, I said it doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's pretty bad. It's the other side of what's going on that they're not telling us. So we know red tide can happen. We know why it can happen. So where are all these reports about that when it comes to ocean fertilization? Because I'm not seeing them. I have to dig deep for this stuff. I shouldn't have to. Okay, so it's been a while. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and throw that link out in the chat again. Oh, there he is. What up, Legendary?
What's going on, man?
Should have said something, man. I didn't know you were even here.
I didn't want to interrupt. Didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, no worries, my friend. So, shit's crazy, right?
Yeah, man. I've been looking into that for a while, man. Them red algae blooms pop up everywhere.
Yeah, well, you're not on the East Coast, but you're pretty damn close to it.
No, I'm on the East Coast, bro.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
live I live right by the harbor.
Oh shit, yeah, yeah.
In Baltimore, so we got the Chesapeake Bay here. So yeah, I'm probably like 10 minutes from the water, Chesapeake Bay. So yeah, we had that pop up in the bay before, algae blooms, and a lot of dead fish pop up over here.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And I bet it wouldn't be too happy to hear that they're doing ocean fertilization out there too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of it, man. Positive. We have a lot of stuff that happens over here. We had something called Fisteria.
Hmm.
It was from I guess from the the fertilization or of the on the farms. So a lot of the farm waste would run off into the water, and man, it was killing all the fish in the bay.
Wow, damn. Just 1 second. They're saying you're low, so I'm gonna get your. See if I can turn this up a little bit. All right, this should be good to go now. Yeah,
What's going on, everybody in the chat?
yeah, it's crazy. Because like I said, man, when I first got into it, I was like, all right, that's geoengineering. That's not right. It's banned. Then to realize it could be banned, but they're gonna make their money on it. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And mind you guys, I haven't even told you the news yet about why this is so frustrating to me. We've just been talking about the normal stuff. But let me go ahead and bring that up now real quick so you guys can hear about it. So I was looking through, I was doing my website thing, and I came across, where is it? Oh, I know where I wanted to start. Um, where is it? Anne, once again, she did a wonderful upload, and it was, talking about this new Hurricane Michael, and I've never heard meteorologists do this, where they've literally said, basically, the path can go in like 10 different directions, and they don't know. That's what they said, and I guess she was like, or she said something to the realm of, you know, these meteorologists, go to school and study this stuff. They're supposed to report the weather, but they're telling us they can't. And it dawned on me. I remembered about the NOAA's gag order, and I've shown it 1,000 times. They basically had a gag order stating, exactly that. Shut up. You can't talk about what kind of weather stuff we're doing, and uh, basically every single weather organization, as far as I know, on this side of the hemisphere, uh, basically has to abide by it. Um, then I came across. I'm pretty sure you guys know who Mick West is. Yeah, that guy. And it was great because I'm reading through because I'm trying to refresh myself with these what the gag order was even about. And the first thing I see when I start looking is it says in NOAA and NWS gag order debunked by Mick West. And he kind of goes into this. What do you say? He said blah blah blah. Reported gag order for NOAA. It was implying that employees are under the same sort of threat or here it is. The actual gag order appears to relate to industry matters between agencies and their unions and organizations called peer. So he's stating that, like, peer is this, like, union, basically union rep. But what Pure is its own entity. Pure is just Pure is basically the what do you call it? Like the Better Business Bureau. This is like them for employees, and so he goes on. He's basically just saying it's not what you think. It has nothing to do with geoengineering. And let me go ahead and put this in the chat real quick.
Yeah, man, he's a shill, man. That's what he's there for, man.
Oh yeah, it's bad because I was like, oh shit, he debunked it. So I read it. I was like, what did he debunk? Oh, and that link to the debunk is probably the only link that I'll be showing. A thing I'll be showing that's not in my description because that guy can go fuck himself. Where is it? I guess it is on that page. And then go over here. One day I'll be really smooth at this. Okay, so this is his quote unquote debunking of it. And then the next page I find is this. Weather Service staffers protest gag order and workforce planning. And it says it all right here. And these are the words of the people that are under the gag order. National Weather Service recently introduced an employee non-disclosure agreement concerning internal issues with issues such as workforce planning, governance procedures, and corrective bargaining, and it's where am I? Oh, damn it! Oh, it's legal complaints and employee groups. The National Weather Service Employees Organization joined with non-profit Public Employees of Environmental Responsibilities, PEER, on Wednesday in writing to the Office of Special Counsel saying the moves by weather service managers are illegal, blanket non-disclosure policies and agreements, otherwise known as gag orders, under the 2012 Whistleblower Protection Enhancement Act. So basically, they're not even allowed to do this gag order, but they did anyway. Where else is it? Because there's another wonderful part on here. Where is it? Okay, here it is. The non-disclosure orders issued by management at the NWS and the NOAA. The Commerce Department forbid disclosure of information arising around the agency's activities, workforce planning, settlement of grievances and disputes, and collective bargaining processes.
That's not shady at the least bit.
No, not at all. And this link is in the description, so you guys can check that out as well. So it's like, how are they really trying to pass this crap on to us? And then I was reading this, and I came across another link, and this is the link that really pisses me off. So one of the ways that they're quote unquote combating greenhouse gases is ocean fertilization, and then the big one, the one that everyone's heard about, but supposedly not doing at all, and that's solar radiation blanketing, right? Well, radiation's bad. It's always been bad.
That's chemtrails, right, Sean?
Yes, they're spraying in the sky to blanket, and this isn't weather modification where they make a few clouds. This is actually an aerosol, a man-made aerosol that reflects light, so that basically doesn't heat up the planet as much. Well, one of the big fears that I was reading about in this is how much difference of a radiation level will we have, or will the aerosols that they're actually laying in the sky or in the atmosphere, will it affect us, because it is a form of radiation? And no one could give any answers because quote unquote they don't do it. Bullshit. Well, guess what? The EPA, the one who governs all that stuff, they just lowered the radiation level. So it used to be at one like it used to be like, or it's right here. By 1 in 2,000, the FDA calculates an increased risk of 1 chance in 2,000. They basically, and this is as of October 2nd, beginning of the week they did this. How many people heard about that? It says an early version of the story, October 2nd, about the EPA's regulation of radiation. Associated Press reported anonymously in a headline that the EPA says a little radiation may be good for you. What the fuck? Little radiation may be good for you. So,
Are you fucking serious?
yeah. So basically, it says experts say Trump's EPA moving to loosen radiation limits. Experts say Trump's EPA moving repeats itself, and this is, I didn't even know about what kicked this off. You guys know about how Trump had to put a gag order on the EPA last year? Anyone know about that? They weren't allowed to talk
Lord.
about. Yeah, they weren't allowed to talk about nothing. Yeah, it says Trump's administration already has targeted a range of our regulations on toxins and pollutants, including coal power plant emissions. You know, the ones that have those new systems, car exhaust, and sees as costly and burdensome for businesses. Supporters of the EPA's proposal argue the government's current model, that is, there no safe level of radiation. The so-called linear non-threshold model forces unnecessary spending for handling exposure and accidents at nuclear plants and medical centers and other sites. So basically, this new policy, where it was supposed to only affect one part, affects all these now because they all have to run under the same guides of this radiation, which now means the safety levels go down. I was always under the assumption that safety levels go up, safer. Where does it say? It says the proposed regulation doesn't talk about radiation or any particular chemicals, as we cited in our response. EPA's policy is to continue to use the linear non-threshold model for pollution level radiation protection purposes, which would not, under the proposed regulation that has been finalized, target any change in the policy. Wait, so the EPA said nothing changes regardless of our new regulation change. This is crazy. Damn. What does it say? You guys are saying in the chat. It says FP, what are they spraying can cause friction and needs aluminum, silicone. Yeah, so a lot of the. Oh, which brings me to my fun part. So the other day, I'm not sure if you guys know who Conspiracy Cat is. You ever heard of him, Duke?
Nah, I haven't heard of him.
Okay.
Conspiracy cat?
Yeah, he's a. I guess he's new. I've heard of him here and there, but I didn't see him until the other night. Basically, he's a glober who basically talks shit about flat earthers, and that's what he does. Well, the other night, as he said it, he changed it up a bit, and he went on chemtrails, and I decided, fuck it, I'm gonna type in his chat. Well, I did, and I said, do you do any research on what you're talking about? Because you have no idea what you're talking about, basically. To explain to him, regardless of, the tangents some people go on, weather modification in itself, local, is still chemtrailing. Well, then, his fanboys, like they always do, jumped in the chat or into the comment area and started going back and forth. I'd like you to cite me some information that proves what you're saying. Because I also stated that geoengineering is real and happening. And so I explained to the guy that was saying this, you want me to lay out my whole claim in this dude's comment chat? He said, yes. I said, no. Why don't you stop by one of my live streams? I'll lay it all out for you. But like usual, they all decline. And I haven't seen one of them show up, so hey, whatever. And then, to my surprise, Conspiracy Cat messaged me. Hey, do you have any information on what you're saying? Now, I know this guy because I've watched it, and then I decided to watch a few others, and I know what he was doing. He was baiting me to talk about some crazy shit, that local crazy, like porn, rock porn, Duke. So I went into my my explanation of why I know geoengineering is going on, and I cited him a few links, and I messaged him later that night. Hey, how did your research go? I didn't hear nothing. I know he did a live stream today, touched on a little bit of chemtrail stuff, but he didn't say anything to me. So as far as I'm concerned, I may have stumped Conspiracy Cat. Now, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't say it. So I'm thinking next time he does a video or goes live, I should call him out on it. I was thinking that'd be fun. That's my plan. So, my new goal is to stop by all these shit talk channels, as I call them, and call them out on their flaws. Now, I went to do this before, and what's his name? Team Skeptic. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. He's a severe asshole in his uploads. One on one, the guy's a pretty fucking cool dude. I think he 100% is shock based uploads. Like he's doing that on purpose. And I'm not gonna lie, there are some flat earthers that deserve to be on his shit. Sorry, that's the way it is. Granted, I've also challenged them to, also do this to the Globers that talk all this bullshit like they know. Haven't seen them do it yet, so that says a lot about them. But yeah, that's gonna be my new plan, because it's getting kind of old listening to them talk shit about flat earthers like they have a clue what they're even talking about. And Conspiracy Cats is, I guess, I think he's a teacher, but he's not like a professor. He's just a fucking teacher. Like,
what would you expect, bro? I mean, I've had I have a couple friends that are teachers, and on Facebook, of course, I post a lot of conspiracy, a lot of truth, but you get the most resistance from them. They have to have that mainstream, popular consensus belief that everything that we're telling the masses is correct because we wouldn't lie mentality. Like, they have to have that, or they wouldn't be a teacher. So I mean, you can't expect anything else from me.
yeah, exactly. And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is teachers have to follow a school board guideline. It's not like they're teaching their view. It's just crazy. It's crazier to me that these guys get online and literally talk shit to people like it's the best thing in the world. And honestly, it's not their fault. The reason they're doing it is because dumbasses watch it. Realistically, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, FPV says, ignorant. He said, ignore the globetards, Sean. They're 100 years behind us. I know. I can't. Trust
Yeah,
me.
it's kind of hard sometimes to ignore.
Well, see, that's the one thing I remember when So I'm not sure if a lot of people know this channel. When I first started, I got porn bombed. So what I did is I started my second channel, the FE Frontline Soldier. When this channel became, I could live stream on it again, I was racking my brain what to do with that other channel. So that stuff will happen on that channel. So, because I know a lot of people don't even want to watch that crap, back and forth between the two. And that I can't help myself. I can't help myself at all. The one problem I have is because in Legendary, this as well as anybody, and a lot of people in the chat know this. I will go, correct, or I will debate with a flat earther myself. Luckily, no one has to deal with an asshole doing it because I'm not going to be disrespectful. I just have different views, which obviously is fine because I've been here a year and a half with different views than a lot of flat earthers, and we've all got along. So it's definitely how you do it. So I'm going to do that stuff on my the other channel, so this channel can stay research based, and then you know what I mean. I have to deal with any kind of drama of that nature.
Yeah, well, that's good that you do it that way, man.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm not trying to make something of it. It's just sometimes you want to go, hey asshole, you said some shit that was not necessary. I'm here to defend everybody.
Right.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. But yeah. So it's like I was saying, it boggles my mind how so many people are just, I don't even want to say naive, just aren't informed. I mean, and it's not even, they're not doing what it takes to be informed. The government really kind of hides this crap. Like, what could Trump have issued a gag order for that the EPA was going to rat him out about for a year? It's not like it was a small gag. This just got released. Like, the gag order just got overturned just recently. Or, I'm sorry, downgraded, basically. So there's still some stuff on that they can't talk about. But for the most part, they're allowed to talk, because they weren't allowed to talk to media or anybody. But yeah, I understand, Helio. Um, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. FEV. This, everyone with a blue wrench. This is your channel. Someone's here that's disrespecting, just not truth worthy. Get them the fuck out of here. I don't mind. FEV. What do you think of the sun and moon being the Windows 7? See, I don't really know much about that one. That'd be definitely FPV. Yeah, so basically, the main thing I wish would happen is that, and I think I said this a couple streams ago, that this whole shape thing would go away, honestly. And I know there's a lot of people that are so diehard about the shape. It's so pointless compared to what's going on. I can't even, like, I was thinking about all the debates, all the discussions I've had, what I could have been informing my, the fam about this shit going on. That's what's crazy to me. Let me see real quick. I wanted to do this before. I do apologize if you did want to get on here. I want to put the link in the chat again. And one thing that's really good news about it is remember I told you guys I hang out at a Glober Discord area, and I put this whole ocean fertilization thing in front of them. I got no backlash. I got no you're crazy, no bullshit, no nothing. No one's talked about it, nothing. So obviously I'm doing something right on my research, so I'm pretty happy about it. Uh, why did my link not present?
Yeah, man, it's some shit that you just can't refute. They publish a lot of their shade. You know, they publish a lot of it, man.
Well, see, the thing is,
They
they'll
got patents on this shit, you know.
well they publish a lot. The problem is they're not telling you it's there. You literally have to dig for
Right.
this. I'm sorry, I'm 37 years old. I should not just now be learning that companies trade fucking pollution like trading cards.
Yeah, that
All right, so the link's out there, guys. If you guys want to jump in, you may need to refresh. You're kind of cutting out.
all right, hold on. I'm about to jump off for a few. I'm gonna jump right back on. Let me like 15 minutes if you still on.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. I will be, but yeah, definitely if I'm still here.
All right. It was cool. It was cool chilling with y'all for a minute, man.
Yep.
I might be back on.
Yeah, and I'll catch up with you a little bit because I got some ideas for your music and I want to talk to you about it.
Ready. All right, man.
Cool. Yeah, so I mean, it's being in amazement that finding all these things that didn't realize was even ethical, for one. Then to like kind of just sit back and realize that it happens all the time. Whose interest do they have? Because the only, literally the only person, only group that I see gaining from this is fossil fuels. Now, we're being promoted, or we're being propaganded as fossil fuel bad. We all need to go solar. Now, this is a like I was saying earlier. This is actually a really touchy subject because I've ran solar systems. I've connected them. I've ran an actual off the grid solar system. Me and my father did it for 14 years. We did have spots where we're using generators, so I know the difference in efficiencies. We use solar batteries. We used car batteries for a time. So when understand, and if you've heard this before, I'm sorry if you're aggravated by hearing it so much. Um, the way they have this quote unquote solar system, solar power system set up to the houses, it's not solar at all. It's mitigating the power that a power plant needs to generate. Now, they may say, hey, less greenhouse gases that they have to pump out. No, it's not enough to lessen the CO2 emissions that a power plant produces. Remember, power plants now have every reason in the world to want to produce more. And, this CO2 storage and these systems, they're all giving these power plants reasons to produce more, regardless of the repercussions of it, basically, right? What's up, Helio?
Hey, hold on. Look, is this work? Is my mic unmuted? Hold on a sec.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. My mic's unmuted.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to jump in and say hi. And what's the main focus of the stream tonight?
Okay. Yeah, because
I got so much going on in my brain.
Oh yeah. No worries. Yeah. You came a little later on. So basically, the past 3 streams have kind of been the same thing, where I basically ran into a geoengineering application called ocean fertilization. Blah blah blah. Basically, they dump hundreds of tons of iron into the ocean to promote algae bloom. Reason for it: the algae absorbs CO2. They then
oh my god!
Oh
man,
yeah, they then liquefy the CO2 and then pump it into the ground. So kind of like fracking to get stuff out, they frack to get this stuff back in.
They frack the ocean.
They actually they do.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, and then a new system came out, which isn't really new. It's about 5-6 years old now. Called.
Do they think the Earth doesn't actually can't take care of itself?
Well, oh yeah. Oh, you're gonna hear. So see that little graph I have in the right next to the Hangout. Like it looks like it's been looping red skies and all that stuff.
So I'm gonna have to pull back up the live stream.
What that is it's a CO2 and a carbon monoxide. It's like a year long. It's like an interactive thing. So when it's red, that's carbon dioxide. But I didn't know this, that basically half the year there's no carbon dioxide. It's carbon monoxide because the way the sea I don't know exactly why it does it, but it changes. So I was thinking like this 400 parts per million number they're giving us, which mind you is very small. Why aren't they telling us that, that's only part of the year that it's that number? Because they make it seem like it's always 400 parts per million, and any higher, we're going to die. That's the crazy part to me. So basically, so here's the best part. Part of collecting the algae bloom, the CO2 they absorbed, the reason these power plants are involved now is because they figured out that CO2 liquefied actually yields more oil. Like, so basically the oil that sticks to the bottom of the wells, the CO2 actually brings it up. They're able to gain 60 to 80% more oil using CO2.
So in the oil well, they inject CO2 into the oil wells, and it
It brings more up.
brings more oil.
Like the stuff that was kicked in a corner or absorbed into the wall. Like, you know what I mean? They're getting more back. And so basically, they yield more oil, more money. Well, the government pays them a certain amount to have these systems that do it. So my guide was why would these big industries be putting billions into a plan that in 20, 30 years makes them obsolete? Doesn't make any sense. So I went off. I was like, why wouldn't they just?
As far as the oil goes, I think the oil industry, I think, is kind of on. I mean, they've struggled long enough to keep it alive, but as far as other forms of energy, it's going to fall apart within the next 20 to 30 years.
But the but what would be the alternative? Could it be like what, solar? The problem with solar is they're not promoting actual solar.
No, not necessarily solar. I mean, there are many people that, I mean, they're suppressing, a lot of the free energy ideas. You know,
But see, I don't see an actual way for there to be free energy.
well, well, I don't. Well, free energies. There's no such thing. I would say that, but there are certain. I think there's a certain way they can use magnetism to create energy. It's not free because the magnets don't last forever.
Hmm.
But there are certain way that they can use the magnets to create energy. It has nothing to do with oil. That's just something that's in my mind about, like, especially with power plant. I mean, they can create large magnets. That would have it wouldn't be a perpetual energy creating machine, but it's just, of course, the magnetism of a certain magnet would wear it after a while. They just replace the magnet so they can keep the turbine turning to create the energy.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. See, I didn't really think about it too much. That, yeah. And it may cost a lot of money to get going, but it's definitely emissions wise
Well,
is much better.
yeah, well, it's free, but there's no emissions.
But,
It's
yeah, there
just
you go.
magnetic energy.
Well,
You just have these large magnets perpetuating this, the spinning, because the spinning, in the copper, um, it's just like as simple as a simple electric motor. Just make it on a large scale, and as long as you use magnetism to keep that motor spinning, and once the magnet weakens, then replace it.
yep, exactly. Yeah, that's actually a great solution. But just like a lot of people know, like hemp. Somehow they've legalized marijuana, but yet you still in the United States can't sell hemp. That doesn't make sense. But
Well,
that's but
when they say legalizing something doesn't make it a free. When
yeah,
they legalize it, that means that they still have control of it. I mean,
yeah.
it
That
doesn't.
means they can
It's
then
not.
tax it.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, yes, it may be a step in the right direction, but it's like, it's a fucking plant.
Well,
There's
it's
no.
a wonderful plant because that plant they also figured out we probably wouldn't have cut 90% of the trees down that we have already because they harvest so fast. We would have been able to use those for all these
Yeah,
paper
of
products
course,
and
man. America should be should be full of hemp. Fields of hemp everywhere where people would have farms that actually like, and Michael on the Discord server, Michael J. Smith, the government pays him to not farm.
wow.
And
Yeah.
he'll tell you. I mean, and he's not the only one. I mean, they pay hundreds and thousands of people to not farm. But if if you could grow fields of hemp, which can be used for paper, clothing, all these kinds of things, this. And why is hemp illegal? It's not even a drug.
Yeah,
There's no THC in it,
no
but it's so.
non-psychoactive. Period. That's the crazy part.
It's because of the lobbying industries, with cotton and all the lumber industries and all those things,
Hmm.
all of the byproducts from them. These lobbying agencies have so much influence on the government that they're never going. Well, I won't say they're never going to allow it, but that's what I mean. Legal doesn't mean that it's still legal. Just means that they still have a means to control it. Doesn't mean a goddamn thing.
Exactly, and that's exactly where I was getting to, because these, like the fossil fuel, like they're not going to engage in something that's going to push them out. That's why I feel they're going to make as much as they can. Why wouldn't they?
Well, and that's what I'm saying. There's these lobbying companies, lobby different states and the United States government or Canada as well. I mean, yeah, weed is going to be legal in Canada in a couple months. Well, legal just means that the state is going to make more and more money, and you know what? They legalized medical marijuana in Arkansas, where I live, shit of over a year ago, and they still haven't done anything about it. There are people suffering that could benefit from this, you know, because the only reason they haven't even got it going yet is because they can't figure out how to make enough money off of it yet, and
Hmm.
who's going to be able to grow it, and all the people are. It's just a big fight about who's going to be able to grow it and what the stipulations are and all that kind of thing. And it's freaking ridiculous, man.
And what's
It's
called, and
it's the saddest thing in the world, really, when you think about it.
and no one talks about how much the big pharma, the pill companies, no one they don't show you how much
Horrified, yeah.
money they put
It's so
into trying to make sure that stuff doesn't happen. They put billions of dollars into making sure
yeah,
marijuana wasn't.
through their lobbying
Yeah.
lobbying agencies.
Hmm.
Yeah, of course.
I see,
That's
we
what
need
I'm
like
saying.
there needs to be like an agency that makes companies accountable for that part, because
How
that's
about how about we make lobbying illegal?
100%. Were you here when I told you about the emission trade scheme?
Probably not.
I'm not sure. You've been around a little longer than I have, but did you know that each country has a certain amount of pollution they're allowed to emit, basically.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you
Yeah, and if
think
they go over that, then they have to pay
no,
money.
no, 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 no.
Oh,
They
okay. Go
changed
ahead.
it.
I'm sorry.
They can go to China and trade for their emission points.
Ooh.
They have countries that don't even put enough emissions out to count, that have these credits that can trade with anybody. Yeah.
No, and it's so sick, man. And it's all based on money that's not even real. It's just
Mm,
a fictitious form of trade that it's not backed by anything. Everyone
absolutely not.
believes it's real, and money is power. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, and it's just it's it's really a sad situation
Yeah.
with
Uh,
the leaders that are involved in promulgating these kind of things.
and then there's the other part of it where you're not saying it. I mean, I think the only president I've ever heard of that was not he wasn't even open about it, the Bush family, and all the oil they're involved in. Yeah, all our government officials are involved in that stuff. They're invested in some big fossil fuel company, but they don't say it. Then you don't realize, because they don't say it and you're not thinking about it.
Why would they say it on public TV? I mean, they have PR reps that
Hmm.
that are say, when they're going on the news, to say a certain thing, this is what people believe is happening because they said it on the news, or they make a speech, which is a scripted speech, and they have someone else writes their goddamn speech. They don't
100%.
write their own speeches.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, that's one of the things that aggravates me the most, because honestly, I think I could live a little bit better with Trump going, I own so and so amount of shares in BP. I think this regulation will be better for everybody, and it'd be better for everyone. Be able to figure out a way to benefit everyone. But that's me thinking that's a big dream. But being more honest about it, I think would be better than not saying anything at
Well, like,
all.
how can you be honest when you have, a stake in, making money off of something? I mean, of course, you're going, have to have some kind of proclivity toward that. I mean, you're not going to be totally honest with, the public about something, especially if you have political connections.
Yeah,
You're gonna you stand to make millions of dollars off something.
that's freaking so sad that it has to be that ridiculous.
It is, but that's just. I mean, shit. That's been the life of people for past couple hundred years. I mean, there's more money made off of wars and deception through different media influences than we could ever imagine. We don't know the backroom deals that people make.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine what happens behind those closed doors.
Yeah. We can only imagine, but we can look at information and see the connections. That's why we're here. We're actually trying to figure it out ourselves. So yeah, there's a lot to really try to uncover, but that's people just make fun of us and say, well, you're just a fucking big conspiratard because I don't know why they can't see it. Why do you think that you're gonna these these guys that go into power that have millions and millions of dollars or to have anything to do with your best interest?
Yeah,
And why do you even trust them?
why? Yeah, why? Yeah, why would they give a rat's ass about you? Any of us? That's
Yeah, they
realization.
ask for your vote, and say, "Oh, I'm here to do this for you." They could say anything on a television camera, but you don't know what they're doing when they're not in front of the television.
100%, 100%. That's it's checks and they need. We need a better system, is what it is. And to all those people that want to talk shit and say you were crazy because this and this, I think they're crazy. There's so much transparent crap out there
They're
that we that
psychopathic, man. They're narcissistic
uh huh.
psychopaths.
Yeah, it's like you don't think that you trust your government? Yeah, of course. How? how how do you trust a government that has countlessly lied to us, done these things behind our backs? Well, they were just planning. Like they were talking about Pearl Harbor and the Bay of Tonka, or the Cuba thing. It's like they didn't do it. It's like so they planned it. It was a document we can look at right now. They didn't do it, but they planned it. That should be more than enough for you to realize they don't care.
You ever seen those memes with what the hell's his name? The leader of Canada right now. What's his name? Shit, I can't remember his name. But anyway, he looks just like freaking Castro.
Oh damn!
He's more than likely his son.
Wow.
And then there's some. I haven't done my research on it, but he looks just like Fidel Castro, man. There's a good chance that the leader of Canada is Fidel Castro's son. All of these kind of things, these different deals and all. I mean, and of course, Canada is under British rule. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
the Queen of England is on their currency. So it's kind of yeah, we have a lot to really figure out. But when it comes to currency, I mean, yeah, we have these. You remember that movie Dead Presidents? You remember
Hmm?
that movie Dead Presidents? It came out, I think, in the early '90s.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, it's just money, man. It's just money. Yeah. But I don't know. I think that our culture is so twisted now through it's been manipulated for a couple hundred years, especially when they've really figured out how to manipulate media and use it as a tool, which they'd done hundreds of years in the past. But when it came to electronic media and print, newspapers, in the 19th century or in the 20th century, going up through everything. I mean, it's been so easy now to just convince everyone of a truth that may or may not be true.
Well, you don't even have to convince. You can just say it, and
You just
most of
say
the
it.
population will just go, okay.
Well, and especially if you introduce the element of fear.
Hmm.
In the early 1900s, there was a threat from Europe to America. So, oh man, what's going on in Europe? The Russians and the Germans are all fighting, and then the British Empire is threatened, and we're allies with the British, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just really easy for them to put anything in the newspaper. They wanted us to go. They could just tell Americans anything, and they'll support some type of effort, to get into the First World War. And then once they figured out how to do that, it was just as easy to convince them to go into the Second World War.
What's crazy is now they have to convince us. If they're not in war, all the manufacturers of the bullets, the ammo or the camo, the machines, the equipment, everything militarized. There'd be so many jobs lost that the economy would just crumble. And that's they're not letting people know that they've built up the military so much that now they have to be fighting all the time.
Well, yeah, to a certain extent, but all of that comes from. I mean, and after they convinced everyone that this World War was so profound, and back then, during after the First World War, they formed the League of Nations. You're familiar with that,
Yep.
correct?
Yeah.
So they formed the League of Nations so that this could never happen again. Well, it did.
Yeah.
Guess what they formed after that? After World War II,
Yeah, that was what.
the United Nations.
Yes.
So anyway, I mean, but it was all planned way before all of that happened.
Hmm?
I mean, and you saw what happened in World War II. They allied with Stalin, who had killed millions of his own people,
It's just yeah.
and many Germans and Polish and all Scandinavians. I mean, he was just, Stalin. For them to ally with Stalin is just it was just it's like, look at what the hell. And then they just put fucking Hitler out there as the boogeyman, as if he wasn't trying. I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy. I think he was connected to all of this shit too. I mean, it was a fucking plan to create this new world order and all this kind of thing. But not to say that some of those guys didn't have their own certain ideologies, and maybe there were certain aspects of it where they did hate the other guy, but at the end of the day, the people with the most power say, well, this is going to play out at the end of the day the way that I want it to play out, and it did. And the United Nations was formed after the fact. I mean, you can have all these people that hate each other, and it's like, no, I'm going to be the guy that wins it. No, and I'm going to be the guy. It's just I mean, from my research, that's the way it is.
Yeah. They're the middle.
This was
they're a
planned.
middleman that can go on either side.
World War I and World War II. I mean, it's not like we would have ended up being under German rule over here eventually. It's just it's all just a big scam, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, the UN, all they are is a sanction that can go back and forth, either side, as will. To me, they're the biggest offenders of this whole geoengineering crap. They're the ones who made this ban to not allow all this
Most
stuff,
definitely.
and
Most definitely.
they're just letting it happen.
Or making it happen.
Yeah, all of the above.
Hey,
Who jumped in?
hi, by the way.
Sheena, how you doing, Sheena?
Hey, I'm doing good. I wanted to say something to you. I thought was interesting. I work for a a bunch of different people, but I do work for a plumbing company also. And last year they got a letter from they were working for a local school district, and they got a letter that said that they had to fill out and sign saying they pledged. It wasn't like it didn't say pledge their allegiance to, but like kind of upheld to Israel, or they couldn't work for the school district anymore. And this was from the state, you know.
Damn.
Wow. And you're in Texas, right?
Yes.
Oh, that must have went over real well.
No,
Well,
no, no. That shit works really good. You know, in Texas, everyone is Israel.
I'm
Well,
not.
well, I know you're not, but I'm just talking about
But
publicly. I mean, it's a
you're talking about this
you're in the
whole,
Bible
the
Belt and all that kind of thing. Is what I'm.
UN and the New World Order. Israel to me is not have anything to do with Bible. I mean, I know it's in the Bible, but today's Israel is not Israel, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
this is something that's been going on for a while. And I think, I mean, because we've been fighting Israel's wars. That's kind of why we grew as a freaking army based nation, is taking care of Israel left and right. And why are we taking care of them? I don't really know. It's insane. But for a, a small business to have to sign something to take care of a local school district, having to sign something saying we basically pledge our allegiance to Israel, or we can't work there because the government wouldn't pay through the school district for that
What?
company, is insane.
Wait a minute. You're saying that this was something you had to sign to say that you support Israel?
Yes, this business.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that's
And
it.
I'm
Insane.
curious if anybody else works for anybody, because I do paperwork for this company, and I saw this letter come through, and she just said, "Oh, throw it in the trash. That's nothing." And she's still working for him, but this did come across her table, and I saw it, and
Wow.
See,
I
I know the government issues contracts and will give subsidies to contractors who basically go a certain standard, so to speak, minority based, I guess you would say.
well,
Uh,
that one I thought was particularly interesting, and
mhm.
I kind of thought something about it at the time, but now that I've learned a little bit more, now I'm like, that was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, like that's because that goes along the same thing with those the people that come to your house every once a year, Census Bureau.
Uh huh.
That's basically what they're doing. They're just getting a
Yeah, it
count
was
for
a
the
census.
numbers.
Like, will you support Israel? Basically,
Yeah, it's what it does is it gives America numbers to show that support an agenda that they're going for. Oh, look, we support this, and everyone's here. They're all good with it, so we need to pass this.
right? But according to this letter, it said that they could no longer do business if they didn't sign it. But
Well,
they didn't sign it. They didn't send it in. She told me to throw it in the trash, and they still doing business for them.
well, they probably just have to send that out, to their
Yeah,
conglomerates.
that's what I'm thinking. I mean, because it is Texas, they're like, "Ugh, this is stupid." Quite the opposite of what you were thinking, Helioskeptic, because
Okay, I got you. I got
it's not really something that Texas supports as Israel. We support
Texas.
a
you. Yeah,
Christian
most Texans just support.
ideology.
I've always heard about
Yeah,
Texas saying they want to be their own their own place, and I didn't really realize it, but they actually made laws to not allow states to secede from the United States based on Texas almost seceding from the United States. I was like, damn, I didn't realize it was that close, and it was recently
yeah,
too.
yeah. Texas is one of the few. There's a few states that can secede.
Hmm. Well, Texas is
Arizona,
the
I
one that
think, is
definitely
another
can.
one of them.
I'll
There's
tell
a
you
few.
though, Texas is pretty hardcore against let's just say drug users or
Yes, and that is something that I ran Paul to be president.
well,
Anybody from the
I would
north.
have, if he had actually won the nomination, I would have voted for him. I didn't vote, but if he'd have won, I would have voted for him.
I know, me too, man, because he just he doesn't want the government to be in any of our business.
They're
You
not
know,
supposed to. They're supposed to look out for our interests, not uh,
not try to
not.
put like freaking
Well, and
laws
that
on
goes
us.
back to not that I don't want to do heroin or anything, but it shouldn't be
If you want to,
illegal.
though, that should be your right.
And then
If you want to kill yourself doing heroin, that's your own business and
Well, the
your
problem
no,
is,
family's
but
business.
some people
don't make it
do it.
illegal, and then guard poppy fields as the United States
Exactly.
drug use skyrockets on heroin. It's like
Yeah,
Dude,
we
after
can't put two
they
and two
took over
together.
well,
Afghanistan, there's more
heroin is
heroin
in
in
most.
America now ever since forever. I mean, there's more heroin in America than there ever has been because you know, the Taliban was trying to get rid of all those poppy fields in Afghanistan.
Yeah, they actually. It's crazy to hear that they actually had stricter laws than we do on drug use, and they actually were getting it done. Like no one did heroin. Like it was like the percentage was so significant when they were around there. Then as soon as we invaded and started guarding those fields, our drug use went up.
I I could
Right.
be wrong on this, Sean, but from my understanding, a large percent of our pharmaceuticals here in America have heroin in them, and that's why we went to war in the first place to go over there
Well, yeah. I
because
mean,
they wanted to grow the pharmaceutical here and get people addicted to all kinds of crap.
Well, I don't think
well,
there was ever one reason to go to war.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure they
yeah,
have a big
yeah.
basket.
Yeah, there could be a motive there, but as far as like the opiates, there's a difference between an opioid and an opiate. An opioid is a chemical concoction, made, that resembles an opiate, but an opiate is a direct derivative from the
The
basically
poppy
heroin.
plant.
Yeah, from the poppy
But
plant.
that would be
Yeah,
like
which
something like that would
Well,
go
it's
into
just something to
after
think
surgery,
about.
right?
Uh, do you know who? Uber Josh.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't think of the girl that basically saved him and got him to the hospital. Uh, she was talking about how 9/11 when we were like, oh, we're going to you know Afghanistan after 9/11, even though we didn't even have proof of that,
Yeah, it was
and
four
and we
four
went over and
deterrents.
took over the heroin fields over there.
Yeah, that was the first place we went straight in, and it was the issue
But
is
before that, when we went to Vietnam, that was heroin fields.
oh yeah, well they lost their asses on that one. I was
Yeah, but they
I was surprised they were able
still were
to
getting
invade
heroin.
another country after the way Vietnam went.
Yeah, yeah, it was. But
yeah,
anyway,
you
her
remember
point,
you
I can't
remember
remember her point. It was just
the Wizard of
basically,
Oz. I mean, it was this was already implanted into our mind through the Wizard of
oh, the
Oz, right?
poppy
Remember
fields. Yeah.
poppy fields too. I mean, this is what I mean. This is a long-term plan for everyone, and this has been this way for a long time. I mean, it seems like wild, accusations and wild speculation about how this could have had, this, but I really think that they've intended to drug the populations of people so that they'd be more malleable to some type of uh, in fear propaganda and all of these kind of things. And they probably I wouldn't be surprised if they introduced these things into the water system, which we've already talked about some of that. With the fluoride and there might even be fucking you know some type of opiate in the water system and
Well,
all
yeah,
that kind
that's
of thing. So
oh
we
yeah,
can't trust them to actually tell us the truth about anything.
that's
I apologize. I fear I may have steered y'all's conversation a little
oh
off where y'all are
No,
going.
no, I don't. The topic can go anywhere you guys want. Does not matter.
dude, I do it every time. So
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Shannon's fault. Blame her.
How you doing,
yeah,
FPV?
it's your fault, Shannon.
It's always my fault. FPV can tell you that. I'm like, I go all over the place. I'm a loose cannon.
No, no, no. Trust me, I go all over the place. That's why I don't. That's why I usually don't do the panel thing right at the very beginning, because I'll shoot in 10 different directions, and then like my screen that I'm looking at has only what I wanted to talk about for the first part, so I don't meander and go other places.
And
Very
I'll
sad.
go on
and
tangents in
Sean,
a
I
heartbeat.
respect that about you. I respect that you can sit and talk for a couple of hours about what's been on your mind and everything. There's something, I can't do that. If
I feel like I
I
have to.
have to,
That was
I have
the
to have someone to talk to.
that.
When I do it.
Well, see
So
that when I first started streaming, that was the hard part because it was be like I was so used to being on panels and talking, and then it was like, okay, well, the issue thing is like, because you have to let other people say their point of view, but if it wasn't my stream, then I had to wait. But then I realized like I have a lot to say, so that's why I started streaming. So just gives me an opportunity to just vent. That's really what it is. It's
that's
access
cool,
to
man. I
vent.
like that. That's why I
Yes,
like you, man. It's good.
Sean, I
Yeah.
almost went
I
live
wish I
tonight
had
because
that.
I had so much to talk about, think about, and
I
I decided no, I'm not gonna do it.
I think
That's
everyone
always
should
been
do it.
unsuccessful for me.
Even if you made a private live, like a private stream, just so you can just get it out. I think it's great. I couldn't imagine if I had never found YouTube and started streaming, that'd just be a ball of aggravation.
Right? Well, I am lucky. I mean, I have family members, my husband, son, and my mother-in-law that I can talk to about this. So at least I got that.
Yeah, but here you get to talk to people all over the world.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Hey, Shanna, didn't you say that after you found out about this, you told your family about it and they all converted and were started to figure out what the hell's really going on?
No, 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 no. My husband got me on this. Then my
Okay.
son, we told my son, then my mother-in-law, then my personal family, like my mother and my sisters and brothers and stuff. They told me to shut up. They didn't want me to sound like an idiot. So
Okay.
it's
Maybe I'm
just
thinking
my
of someone else.
my immediate close family that I have, but my parents and stuff like that, no, they don't want to hear anything
Oh, of
about it.
course. Well, yeah. My mom, I talk to her often about it. She knows where I'm at, but I don't really think she can grasp it. And I don't, you know, just make her swallow it, every time. But she already knows what I'm doing. I mean, I'm doing
Well,
the
my
live
mother
stream. I'm
told
on the
me
here all the time.
my mother told me to shut up and never speak of it again.
Well, that's the thing. There's always going to be people who don't want to know. Like I've said this 1,000 times. What I know now from being around, and just everything I know now, I I I I would go back. Just living just clueless.
So you'd be the guy in the Matrix that wanted to go back,
Pretty much. I mean,
eat the steak.
like I said, it's a give or take. It's not so much that I don't want to know it, but at the same time, it's like
You're saying
not
you'd go
knowing.
back, Sean?
You
No, no,
can't
no, okay.
go
It's
back.
like it's hard to explain. So
Oh, I
realizing
can totally get what you're saying
it's
because
the
I feel that way
realization
sometimes.
of what's going on and knowing what's going on that is like whoa, and to remember how just simple everything was before was
Yes.
good. I remember it. It was simpler.
It was
Back
simple till it started falling apart, though, and that's what brought you here.
back when steak tasted so good.
That's when we had real food, yeah.
like I said, I mean, like it's obviously I couldn't go back, but it's like that thought in your brain. You're like it was simpler then, but at the same time,
You know that each and every one of us have that thought that, man, why? Why did it have to be me?
well, see, that's the thing. It's a the yin and yang. I mean, you can't really do anything about it. I also feel
You
like
can't.
there are things that I bring to this community that maybe someone hadn't seen right away, or there are people in this community that make me like bring stuff to me that didn't know at all. So it's like not knowing is obviously worse. Knowing about it and figuring things out kind of gives, like for me at least, it kind of gives me I hope maybe not our
Sometimes.
generation can do it, but maybe later generations because of the building we're doing will
Well, I
change
wouldn't
stuff.
say it's obviously worse for people that participate in the system because they don't. if you don't know, ignorance is bliss, right?
Hmm.
I mean, and some people
Exactly.
are very successful inside the system.
Oh yeah.
So it's not, when you introduce some of these things, there's like, what if I actually started to think that and move that way, then I might, just
Their
like a lot of,
system would crash.
Well, see, that's why.
well, or at least their idea, like if they started to talk about these things, if they had a decent job and they were making, 60 to $100,000 a year, they started to really make a big deal about this at work, they're not going to be able to keep their job. You know what I'm saying? So, and
Yeah,
there are many people
exactly.
that do have those kind of jobs, and you just have to be really careful about, how you bring it up.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, FPV left. Dang it.
go with FPV. He might have just, he'll be back.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I'm not sure
I
how much longer I
made
gotta go because
like
I gotta work tomorrow. We're gonna keep going. I'm not stopping right this second, but I was just saying.
Well, I didn't plan to come on very long. I just wanted to come and say hi. And,
No, I definitely appreciate that. But man, so are you still solely doing the 24 hour by yourself?
well, to be honest, I mean, it's all I have to do is change the title and hit start streaming on OBS. I mean, it's not that hard. And then I go to work every day, yeah. And while it's streaming, I figured out how to control my computer from my house,
Ah, with the
at
remote,
my
yeah,
house from my phone, yeah.
yeah, that's what I do.
So
It
so
works
I
wonderfully
can
with kids.
keep it going.
Anybody who has kids that likes being on a computer, but you can't be there, get remote. The other day, my son wanted to play a video game, and he was like, "Well, how?" I'm like, "Just watch the screen." Thought it was the coolest thing in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah. Well, I don't have any kids. I'm just my my family is. I mean, I have a direct family that I live close to, and I love them. But they're doing all kinds of other things. I'm doing this, and I do keep the stream going. For now. However long that's going to last, and yeah, I just try to keep it going. I don't, you know,
Well, I gotta. I'll talk to you in the back chat because it doesn't need to be all on the stream. But you have options, and you got good people over there, so you have options to keep it going. Because I personally I enjoy it because sometimes you don't want to be at the Discord where your name's there, and then someone wants to engage you. And the YouTube side, you can kind of just turn it on YouTube. You can engage there sometimes when people are around, and if not,
well, I
you can
think,
actually just listen in.
well, I think it's helping, to, uh, I think with just the word Discord in the YouTube channel actually brings a lot of people that are on Discord that don't even know anything about Flat Earth. So we get a
Mm,
lot of new people through that stream, and I'm restreaming on you now
awesome.
and Twitch, which I think Twitch is. Every time I look at Twitch, nobody ever watches it,
So you
but
now.
you now, man, there's at least 20 to 30 people that watch, that at least come across that stream every day.
So,
I
so
mean, dude, there's more people on you now watching
I,
the stream than there is on YouTube. I think.
I like you now for this reason. What I do is I'll go on that right, and so you know how it just lists everyone that's live. I just copy and paste. I type research flat Earth or hashtag research flat Earth. I copy it and I just go click one, paste it, leave, click, paste it, leave. I just
Well,
go.
when I start the stream, I put the Discord link, I put the link to the YouTube channel, and I have a really good playlist on my my Helioskeptic
Hmm?
channel that I should probably just start pasting that too. So it's like, just jump in, click those links. I mean, if you're interested in the topic, there's everything you need right there.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is
I,
I gotta
I
upgrade a
love
couple
y'all
of
for
things.
what y'all are doing. I think y'all are awesome, and everybody in chat too. FPV cats.
Hmm?
Everybody. I shouldn't name everybody, but man, we're y'all are getting it done. I'm not really doing what y'all are doing. I'm not in Discord. I used to be, but I lost it because I had to get a new phone, and I don't have that app.
Discord is
I
a
don't want it.
special place.
I don't have Facebook anymore. I don't have none of that. All I have is Hangouts and YouTube. I don't even want all that. If I could delete Google, I would.
Well, I think they Google owns all of them anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
exactly. So you
I
can't
just
really get
utilize the
rid of
platform as
Google.
long as I can do it. I'll just go ahead and use it. They're giving me the opportunity. I'll go ahead and freaking do
Well,
it.
I'm just saying, y'all are doing a great job spreading the word, and I think it's wonderful, and I'm very happy for all of y'all. Everybody in chat, I know that all of them are doing something to do their part. We all do something different for different parts of this spreading of truth, and
Well, that's what makes a community.
Well, I mean,
exact,
none of us could do it without without with each other. Without each other. Supporting each other. And if
exactly.
I was out here by myself and everybody was just like, you know, um, if it was just me going and everybody, and nobody supported it, and they were all just calling me a bunch, a bunch of ass. I'm just the biggest asshole in the world, and you're just so stupid. You know how many times flat earthers get called stupid
Oh
and
yeah,
retarded all the time.
all
Of
the
course,
time.
I mean it doesn't. It actually encourages me to keep going because this guy, they got whatever, man.
No, I
That shit
100%
don't
get it.
even bother me anymore. I mean, I'm 3 years into this, so it doesn't even freaking affect me anymore.
Especially when they're saying all these things to you, and then just discrediting everything that's in their face. It's happening. It amazes me. It amazes me how anybody
Well,
could not even
y'all are
care
great.
to look into something.
Y'all are all great. Everybody, everybody in this movement is wonderful, great people. I mean, we may not all agree, but we're all trying to find truth, and that's like the most super important thing.
Hmm.
Well,
Exactly.
hey, and if we did all agree,
Uh,
then we would it would
be
be boring as shit.
we'd be what we don't want to be.
We'd be in a religion.
Yes, we are not a hive mind. We are individuals.
Yes,
It's a beautiful thing.
yes, it is. And with that, I'm gonna end it on that one because that's perfect way to end it. Um, I'm probably gonna
Cool, son,
go
man. Thanks for having me
live.
on, brother.
Oh man, anytime. Both of you guys, Sheena, Helio, you got this is your guys' platform as well. Anytime you guys want to be on, I don't mind at all.
Had a great time chatting with y'all.
And we'll try. The link that I sent you in the back chat that worked fine. That's how you got in.
No, the one you sent me in our personal on Hangouts is the one I had to use.
Okay.
Yeah, I came in through the main chat. You
Yeah, I
posted
don't
the
It
know.
link.
wouldn't let me in. It said I had to update some kind of Hangout thing.
Okay. Yeah, because the one I sent to you in that one is my old Hangout app. So I guess it's still on that kind of doesn't. It's not
I
forcing the
don't
upgrade.
update my crap, so
Well, yeah, because when
you.
I open my Hangouts now, it tells me that Google is getting rid of the Hangout app, and it's going to become an extension.
Okay, well, that's the only way I was able to join was through the old Hangout link we had from a long time ago.
Okay, well then I'll make sure I'll just send it that way from now on, and that way you don't have to worry about it, and it'll be good to go. You can get on a lot sooner. 'Cause I know you were trying for a while, and it took me
Yeah,
a
and I
second
never
to see
could
it,
get on.
Oh man.
but I'll get you on a lot sooner. Um, yeah, because I was gonna send it to you right away, but then I got into my little rant, and then when I saw that you were trying to, I kept sending it, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm sending it. She'll get it." And you're like, "It doesn't work." I'm like, "Oh, it doesn't work."
It's not good, and it's just me because I don't like to update stuff. Every time I update something, it goes to crap and it works
Well,
like shit.
well, like I said, I have an old version still, so I'll be able to send it to you that way. That way, right away, instead of all these other options, that one will work on. Definitely.
Okay,
All right.
sounds good. Cool, cool.
Awesome.
I love you all.
All right. You have a good night.
You
Y'all
too.
Helio,
too.
are you
You know you.
going over to
Okay.
Discord in a little bit?
Well, yeah, I'm always there. Man.
Well, y'all have fun at Discord. I won't be there, but
Sometimes
I know y'all will
I'll
have
go to
fun.
I'll have the live stream going and then I'll watch a movie while that shit's going. But I always check in and see what's going on.
That's cool. Yeah. Anybody listening, please go check that out. Description's in my or the link is in my description for the 24/7 24-hour YouTube link, and check that out. It's cool. Uh, I probably listen more on the YouTube because I don't.
Hey, so do I. So
It's
do I. I
it's
don't.
it's
I
easier to
hardly ever jump in there and talk.
yeah,
But
it's easier just to listen to the YouTube for me personally, and then be able to go about what I'm doing research wise, or just just messing around on the computer. So everyone, check that out. It's cool. And
but more than likely, I'm kind of in the mood. I might go ahead and jump in voice in there. So yeah,
I'm gonna get
I'll
something to
put a
eat,
link.
and then
I'll put a link.
if I don't pass out, I'll stop by.
Y'all
Sweet,
have a
bud.
good night.
All right, you have a good one
Thank
too,
you
Sheena.
so much, Sean.
All
I'll
right, Helio.
talk to you, man.
Yep. All right, peoples. Appreciate everyone that was here. Jason, what's up, my friend? Again, Helio, thanks for stopping in, man. Anytime you want to be on the platform. Sheena, you as well. FPV, you as well. I know it's late there, so you got to get sleeping. Anybody else who lives in chat? Cat Eyes, thank you. So, Ty, hey man, how you been, man? Let's see who else was here. One can science, thank you. And Sheena, who else? Alan. Oh yeah, damn. I was gonna fucking say something earlier. I'll tell you up in the back chat. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for all being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for not making me rant by myself. Um, Again, this geoengineering situation, the ocean fertilization, I'm not, I am so nowhere near done. I got stuff in the works for, to inform about it. Um, but every day, like I said, I'm learning something new about it, and I don't want to put something out that's missing something. So that's kind of why it's been lagging on the uploads. But this is one of those situations um, that I feel everyone needs to know about and needs to play their part to do something about it. It's definitely needed. Love you guys. See you next time. I'll probably be going. I want to say tomorrow because I like going live, but I can't guarantee it. But I will. I'll see you guys way before the weekend. All right.
Duke wins. Fatality.